Mobility done for the day, super recommended, it feels really good. Hey everyone, my name is Amar and I'm just a random underwater hockey dude. Today I want to talk to you about how I personally think is a good way to write a swim session and the things that I think you should take into account when you design one. This is quite a big topic, so I decided to split it in 3 parts. The goal is that by the end of this series of videos, if you're an athlete, you have the tools to come up with your own sessions, or you can adapt sessions that someone else wrote. Or if you're a coach, you have a better understanding or you refresh some concepts when you design sessions for your athletes. Most underwater hockey players don't love swimming just by the sake of swimming, but unfortunately it's necessary if you want to get into more competitive underwater hockey. Yes, you can get fit by just playing games, and although it's 100% necessary to include game-based fitness in your program, you do need to swim. Not only to be competitive, but also just to enjoy the game. Playing tight sucks.
Oh man, this is hard.
Dad, shouldn't you save a couple bottles for when you're a little higher?
I've been working as a competitive swim coach for quite a few years, and I've had the chance to work with many athletes from development to high performance. So that experience has been very helpful for me to have a better understanding on the
dark arts of programming.
Harry Potter is dead!
One could think that classic swimming would get you fit for underwater hockey. And although it can give you lots of general fitness, lots of technique, and good feel for the water, it's still a little bit too far from how specific efforts are in underwater hockey. You could see swimming without fins as a little bit more specific aerobic capacity workout. One more step towards specificity would be fin swimming. Now your propulsion comes mainly from your kick and not as much from your arms as we have from normal swimming. So getting better at it becomes more relevant for our sport. Learning and developing both flutter and dolphin kick is a must for underwater hockey players. And the type of efforts that fin swimmers do in their sport is very relevant for us. But there are still some missing elements here as well. Like for example, prolonged and frequent underwater efforts, body position in the bottom of the pool, change of direction, and probably a few more. So how a swim session for underwater hockey should look like? No worries, I got you. Remember, this is just my opinion based on my experience. You can achieve results in many different ways. So here are some of the things that I think you should consider when writing sessions for underwater hockey. Number 1, give the session a focus. First, it's important that you think, what do you want to get out of the session and what do you want to achieve? And for this, we need to talk about energy systems. Energy what?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Get ready. Your body has 3 main ways of processing and using energy. One for prolonged, moderate intensity type of efforts that we're gonna call oxidative or aerobic. One for high intensity and shorter duration efforts that we will call glycolytic or anaerobic lactic system, and one for very short all-out max effort that we're gonna call ATP or anaerobic alactic. And don't worry too much about the fancy names. They just refer to chemical reactions that are happening in your body when they are in use. We can't really get too much in depth in this because it has ridiculous amount of mad science.
Yeah, Mr. White. Yes, science.
Long story short, imagine your body is a car and you have 3 gears. The first one is gonna let you go really far, but not very fast. The second one is gonna let you go faster, but you will run out of fuel relatively quick, maybe in 5 or 6 minutes. And the third one will let you race all out, but maybe just for 10 seconds. We use all 3 energy systems at all times, just in different ratios and shifting from one to the other depending what type of effort we do. For underwater hockey, we need to train all 3 systems. A solid aerobic system would give us a good base and will let us endure better a whole game or multiple games a day much better. Training the anaerobic systems is probably more specific to our sport. Working on the lactic system will let us cope with high intensity efforts and high rates much better. And on the alactic system to get better at all out max efforts that are so important in underwater hockey. Number 2, always include some form of kick. Why? No, not that type of kick. 99% of propulsion in underwater hockey comes from the kick. So we should be proficient in both flutter and dolphin as they both have different uses. Include kick here and there in between sets and every now and then program a kick set. Your legs will hate you at the beginning, but your hockey will thank you. Number 3, always add an underwater component. Remember, we play underwater, so we need to get used to that specific type of effort. It's amazing how things change once we push the body with restricted oxygen. Number 4, change of direction and more specific sessions. Periodically, some sessions should include change of direction, puck swimming, and other more specific elements. So when and how often? We will talk about it in future videos. Don't be so impatient. Next is use the clock. What for? Time targets and time cycles. These 2 will help you to get to know better your pace and your times for different distances, and also to get more consistent efforts through the set. They both can be set around a test set or any set really that you have done previously, or just on the fly to have something to go for. Try to avoid rest periods. Use them only in between sets or for sets that might require it. For example, when you do long breath holds or when you do speed work. But other than that, try to stick to that pace clock. He's your friend. Number 6, prescribe the right volume. As hockey players, we all have different athletic backgrounds. For example, if you have a swimming background, 4 or 5 or even 6K sessions might not be a challenge. But for someone who has never been really swimming much, this might not be a very good idea to start with. It's better to start conservative and build up more progressively and consistently. Otherwise, you take the risk of creating new injuries, upsetting old ones, or just getting overtrained and mentally fatigued. Prescribe something that feels for you or for your athletes. And little by little, you will get to know your athletes' abilities and limitations, and your prescription will get more accurate and efficient. And lastly, give the session a structure. It is important to give structure to our training in general and also to our sessions. A good way of structuring a session could be this: a warm-up, 1 or 2 main sets targeting a specific energy system, 1, 2, or even 3 accessory sets with specific goals, and a cool down. And now an extra tip. Include some injury prevention to your daily routines, similar to what I did at the beginning of the video. As we start adding volume, to the swim program plus the swimming that we do during games, the body needs more maintenance from the recovery point of view. Shoulders, lower back, hips, knees tend to be the weak link for us. So it's important for us to minimize the risk of injury by keeping all the joints and muscles involved flexible, mobile, and strong. We can achieve this through myofascial release, mobility drills, and very specific exercises to stabilize joints and strengthen muscles. We can go more in depth in this topic in future videos if you want me to. If you want to get into a consciously designed swim program to boost your athletic performance and your underwater hockey performance, you can join my remote coaching program and I will design a program suitable for you and your needs. And joining is super easy. Just fill out the form below or send me a message. Don't be shy. I won't bite you. I promise. Nah, I won't. That's all for today's video. In parts 2 and 3, I will go more in depth on how to write the different blocks of the session, and I'll give you some more ideas for you to implement in your swim sessions. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. See you in the next one. One more step towards specificity. One more step towards specificity. One more step towards specificity would be fin swimming. Now propulsion. Now propulsion. And the type of efforts that swimming. So here are some of the things that I think. It's amazing how things change once we push the body with restricted. It's amazing how things change once we push the body with restricted. It's amazing how things change once we push the body with restricted oxygen. Restricted, what can... I can't say it's restricted. Similar to what I did at the beginning of the video. Beginning, what I can't say beginning. Why? Beginning. It's just beginning. Similar to what I did at the beginning of the video. Beginning. We can go more in depth in this topic in future videos. Why I'm saying videos? Propulsion.